Let me start off by asking all of you a question. What sets our planet apart from the rest of the seven? It is water and the oceans. A very good morning to the honorable jury, my co-participants, organizers of the Climate Stories event, and the members of the audience. I'm here to talk about how oceans hold the key to climate change. So how, in fact, do the oceans hold the key to climate change? The cheapest climate technologies we have is a clean and healthy ocean. The oceans vitalize the Earth's ecosystems and economy alike. Presentation thesis. This presentation shall focus on how ocean health and climate stability are intertwined and interconnected. It aligns with the SDG goals number 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And it shall explore the vital role of the oceans in the climate story and what we can do to make a difference. Let me introduce you to today's main character, TOTO. Through TOTO's journey, we shall witness firsthand how the oceans hold the key to climate change, why they are worth fighting for, and what we can do to make a difference. The oceans act as climate guardians for our suffering, burning planet. By understanding the vital connection between ocean health and climate, we can discover the role each of us plays in protecting the marine ecosystem as well as the whole globe. So, a bit of an introduction to Toto. His name is Toto Hawksbill. He was born in the Car Nicobar Islands off the coast of India in 17 February 1898. He is 127 years old as of now. The ocean is his home. Status-wise, he is critically endangered with only about 27,000 members of his community remaining. And that number is going down fast, very fast. We all know this image. It is one of the most recognizable images in the world. It's called the Blue Marble, and it was taken by the Apollo 17 space mission on their way to the moon from the Earth. Toto remembers reading about this image in the Turtles for Earth journal in December 1972. The Blue Marble depicts how the oceans cover more than 71% of the Earth's surface and how they regulate the Earth's climate, hold more biodiversity than the land, and drive the climate cycle. I'm sure we've all seen headlines like these before, and Toto tells me that these sorts of headlines have been appearing much more often in the past few years. What all this indicates is that humans and their callousness is harming the oceans and inviting ecological catastrophe. We see plastic in the fish, we see choking our oceans, we see the average temperature increasing. We've all seen this before, and we will continue to see them if we don't do enough work. But let's talk about the main point. How are the oceans vital in building climate resilience? Every second breath we take and every single one that Toto does comes from the oceans. Every degree of temperature mitigated is thanks to the oceans. Oceans absorb 90% of the climate system's excess heat, as we can see. They absorb 1/3 of carbon emissions. And coral reefs act like natural breakwaters. They protect coastal communities in low-lying zones from extreme storms. Here's a flowchart depicting how the oceans act as lungs for the Earth. They absorb global heat and greenhouse gases like CO2 and CH4. They filter our atmosphere. They produce more oxygen than the plants do. They drive the rainfall cycle, and they sequester excess carbon in deeper layers and keep it from escaping back into the atmosphere. Oceans cover more than 71% of the Earth's surface. They hold more than 50 to 80% of its biodiversity. They support several fisheries and livelihoods and support the livelihoods of millions living in the coastal communities. They drive the ocean economy and international trade, seafood markets, etc., etc. They sustain tourism and culture, which are essential for preserving traditions and rebuilding climate communities after climate shocks. An important point in how the oceans help in building climate resilience is ocean energy. Ocean energy systems have the potential to produce more than 3 times the current human energy requirements, which means that we could hit a net carbon emissions zero by 2030. Electricity can be generated from the sea using several methods such as tidal barrage, tidal stream turbines, ocean thermal energy conversion systems, and wave energy systems. Now, how is climate change impacting our oceans? Climate change impacts our oceans in a lot of adverse ways, like rising temperatures, ocean acidification, etc., etc. What all this means for Toto is that he has hotter, more saline environments to live in, plastic in his home, acidity hampering his shell, lesser food to eat, and lesser oxygen to breathe. He had to witness several thousands of his community members dying off which is almost the equivalent to a marine holocaust. This is a graph of the daily sea surface temperature of the oceans from 1979 to 2023. As we can see, the ocean temperature follows the usual trend throughout the year, except in the summer of 2023, how it hit a new critical peak. How is climate change impacting our oceans? Adverse effects of climate change on the oceans include coral bleaching, harmful algal blooms, marine heat waves, lower dissolved oxygen, ocean salinization and changing ocean currents, which undermine the food web and disrupt the migratory patterns of the marine animals. This is a graph of the pH level in the global ocean from 1982 to 2022. As we can see, the pH has decreased in a straight line from 1980 to 2022, which means that the acidity of the oceans has increased exponentially. Why is it necessary to protect the oceans? This is a pretty big question. It is very necessary to protect the oceans because more than 680 million, which is almost 10% of the global population, lives in low-lying coastal communities and faces the brunt of climate change. Their livelihoods and contributions drive the ocean economy, but they're most vulnerable to be affected by climate change like flood and storms and etc. Also, another reason why we should protect the oceans provide a vast sustainable source of energy, like offshore wind, thermal, wave, etc. systems of energy. By harnessing ocean resources wisely, we can build off our energy crisis, we can support clean energy, seafood and navigation. Healthy oceans play a vital role in mitigating climate breakdown, but human exploitation is hampering the ocean. Not only hampering the oceans, but also hampering their ability to self-heal, to cope with climate change on their own. They drive a variety of businesses and fisheries which depend on marine biodiversity. How can we protect our oceans? Our precious oceans can only be protected by a combination of sustainable resources, environmental steps, political reforms, and global awareness. Maritime shipping contributes to a large part of carbon emissions. Cutting down maritime shipping and switching to clean fuel is integral to fight in the climate struggle. Establishing marine protected areas is very important to keep TOTO's home safe, and iron fertilization and ocean alkalinization are methods to increase the oceanic carbon uptake so that they don't get acidified so often and so quickly. Planting fast-growing seagrass is also another way of absorbing the excess carbon in the system. Drastically reducing fossil fuel consumption and production, I'm sure we've all heard of this before. Incorporating sustainable seafood into global diets as well as. Importantly, TOTO's message, TOTO reminds us all that the oceans play a mighty part in the great story of our climate. As the world warms, the oceans change too, but they stand strong as our best guardian. If we learn how the health of the oceans and the climate move in harmony, we can find the secret to protecting the blue heart of our world, and in doing so, secure a bright future for us all. The climate struggle never really ends. Nevertheless, I would like to reiterate that the oceans act as climate custodians for a burning planet. The need of the hour is to shift from an anthropocentric to a biocentric paradigm and to remember that there is no planet B. I would like to end off with a quote. Climate change is a lot like death. It is inevitable and we know it is inevitable, but a very few percentage of us really acknowledge it. These are my references. Thank you.